Hey folks, welcome back. This is Joel, and in this series we have been talking about Silver Peak's SD-WAN solution. Now, in the previous videos, we have already discussed the basics of the technology, and we have also started a bit of hands-on where we explored the orchestrator. We tried bringing up a bunch of the Edge Connect appliances as well. We actually got 4 of the appliances up, and in this video we'll be bringing up the final appliance, which is the SP5. We'll be bringing it up, but this time we'll be using zero touch provisioning instead of the normal manual process which we followed in the previous videos. So this is the topology we have, right? And like I said, we've got SP1, 2, 3 and 4 up. We'll be bringing up the SP5. Now if you just recollect, how did we bring up any of these appliances, like for example SP1, right? Step number 1 was we tried, step number 1 was we made sure that the Ethernet 0 got a IP address on its management interface, and using that management interface we went on to this Windows PC and connected to that management IP, and we went and obviously put the account key and the account name, right? So we put that information. So once we put that information, the Edge Connect was able to kind of connect to the right orchestrator, right? So that's what we kind of did. And once the appliance started showing up on the orchestrator, we went on to the orchestrator and started configuring, right? And especially, how did we configure? The important piece was the deployment profiles, right? I hope you remember that. So we use something called as deployment profiles, which will have all the settings which are needed for the configuration. Now that was a bit of a lengthy process. So what we are trying to do with SP5 is we will go on to the orchestrator first, right? We will get onto the orchestrator and we'll set up what they call as a pre-config. We'll do a bit of pre-config here, right? So we'll go and do a pre-config specifically for SP5, right? So for SP5 we will do some pre-config so that when SP5, when we turn this turn SP5 up, right, it is going to get an IP address on this guy, and we are going to obviously put the account ID and account account name information, the key and the name information. So when it tries to contact the orchestrator, once we approve it, right, it will automatically get this pre-config which has been set up. You don't have to explicitly go to the appliance and configure the IP addresses and so on, right? It is going to get this configuration which you have pre-baked, pre-staged, right? So that configuration can be downloaded on the SP5. So that's what we are trying to achieve with this. So you see, by doing this, right, you can save a lot of manual efforts during your migration or during your deployment, right? If you have all this pre-configs already set up, all you have to do is make sure that the appliance goes and talks to the orchestrator. Once it talks to the orchestrator, it pulls the right configuration and it configures itself. That's what we are trying to do. Alright, so step number 1 would be let's get on to the orchestrator, right? By the way, you can see SP1, 2, 3 and 4 are all healthy and looking fine. What we'll do here is we need to get to the configuration. We'll go to overlays, and here you see there should be a section for configuration, overlays and discovery, right? Discovery, and you have something called as pre-config. So let's go there. So you can see right now there is nothing, right? So I'm going to say click new. Okay, so we are going to, this is the place where we have to define. So I'm going to say SP-5, right? That was the so I'm going to call this as SP-5 underscore config. I'm going to give a name to the pre-config file. Okay, and nothing else. I mean, if it was a hardware appliance, then we could have gone with like serial and stuff, but I think let's also put a tag, right? So I'm going to put SP-5 and underscore tag. So why we put a tag? Because when we go to the appliance manager and when we put the license information later, right, on the SP5 device, that we are going to put the same tag, right? So when this appliance comes up, it will match based on tag and it will get the configuration. That's the use of the tag. Now as you see here on the right hand side, there's some pre-baked configuration which comes in like this. We can kind of start editing this so that we will, I mean, you can do a lot of things, right? You can see that they have commented out a bunch of things, so you can do a lot of configuration using this pre-config file, but we will just stick to some important configuration which we want our devices to, especially the SP5 device to have. Okay, so coming to that part, right? Let's scroll from the top and let's see. So you can see here, I actually have the pre-config file already prepared. So I'm going to just copy things from it, so that, but I'm going to obviously highlight places where we need to obviously discuss, right? Like for example, let's start from here. You can see um, everything else is commented on the top. So let's start from maybe line number 67, I guess. So you have appliance info, we can put in a host name over here, right? We don't really need the software versions. I'm going to skip that, not needed. And in the host name, let's go with something like sp-5, because that's going to be my host name. Let's remove that. And in the group, right, let's see which group we want to put this in the Berlin group. So I'm going to go with let's remove that. I'm going to say site 3 dash Berlin. Okay, makes sense. The site information, we can keep it as it is. I will explain what is the meaning of site later, but now for now it's fine. Network role, all of that is fine. Location, right? So we can just skip all of that and just keep the city. And in the city, I'm just going to go with Berlin, right? Maybe let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get off country. I think you can just put as Germany over here, and latitude, longitude, I'm gonna just get rid of all of that, right? In fact, we could just completely get rid of it. Okay, contacts, I mean, all of that's fine. We can just get rid of it, not needed for now. This is just a lab, but you would want to concentrate on it if you're really, doing this for production. Template groups, I'm just going to keep it fixed, right? I'm going to use the default template group, right, which we are otherwise also going to use. Overlays also going to be the same thing, the 4 overlays. No need to change anything over there. Apart from that, now let's come down to the deployment. Yeah, there you go, deployment info, right? So this is the place where you can select the information which would otherwise go inside the deployment profile specifically, right? The interface information, the mode and stuff. So we are going with inline router. Bandwidth, I would probably go with say 8000 kilobits or 8008 Mbps. So I'm going to go with 8 Mbps here, right? Let's keep the rest, everything as it is. We could get rid of some of these things. For example, this one, not needed for now, right? Let's come down, right? So LAN interfaces. So for LAN, we are going to go with, remember, this is the data center. So we are going to go with we are going to have LAN 0, right? So we're going to have LAN 0, and that's going to be, let's change this to data, right? And LAN interface, all of that is fine. The IP addressing, so we could actually get rid of all of the rest of the stuff. We'll just keep IP address, but what is the IP address? For LAN, it is going to be 10.99.35. Okay, so we'll change this one to 10.99.35 dot this should be 102/24. Okay, so that's for LAN 0. Now let's scroll down a little bit. I guess for LAN 0.131, that's going to be my voice. So this is the sub interface, right? We have done the same thing elsewhere as well. So on the sub interface, again, the LAN type is fine. Interface comment, if you want, you can put, right? Let's copy the same thing. IP address is gonna be, we'll remove the next hop, not needed. But IP address, let's put 10.99 instead of 35. I think we have used maybe 38, right? Earlier on the SP4. So I'm going to use the same thing. And we probably might need one more interface, which is going to be, let's just pull this a bit back here. Yeah. So this one is going to be 132, right? And that's going to be technically the guest Wi-Fi, right? So the guest Wi-Fi, I think that's the name which I've used. If I'm a bit doubtful, let me just double check that. Is that the one what I've used? One sec. Yes, so that's correct. I've used guest Wi-Fi. I just verified it, which is fine. What else do I need? Check my interface. Okay, so we have guest Wi-Fi, and that's going to be a LAN interface. And this one, I think, is going to be 41 maybe, right? That's what we set it up on the SP4 as well. Okay, so all of the LAN interfaces are done. Now we can configure the WAN interface, right? So for WAN, WAN 0, MPLS 1, that's going to be WAN interface, IP address, right? For IP address, we need to be careful. It's 10.99. I think it is, if you look at here, it is 107, right? 107 is the MPLS. So dot 107, and I think we are going to use 102/24. Okay, so next hop will be nothing but the same thing but .1. So I'm gonna copy that, paste. The bandwidth I can go with like 4000 here, right? So that looks good. We have the next hop and everything, right? So this is a MPLS, so I think I would technically go with the firewall mode of all. I don't really need stateful firewalling because it's MPLS link, and behind NAT is gonna be none, because we don't have any kind of NATing happening towards our service provider. Okay, so that's your WAN 0. Let's just maybe copy the same thing for, there is going to be, remember, one more interface, which is your WAN 1. So for WAN 1, I'm going to just change the interface to inet 1, right? This is going to be 108 instead of 107. It's going to be 108. This also is 108. These both are fine. Only the thing which we need to change here is the firewall mode, because it's an internet link, right? So let's Control Z, my bad. So let's just change this to, let's get rid of that, and let's put stateful source NAT, right? So these keywords and all should be very accurate, and you can, to get that information, you can just scroll up and you'll be able to find that information, right? So everything is commented out here, but whatever you need, right, you can just take the values from there and use it in your YAML file. Okay, so that's good. So we have put in till here, so we can get rid of this. We don't have any sub interfaces on the WAN side, so I think we are good to remove that. We don't really need this one either, the HA config, at least for now we don't need it, so we can get rid of it, right? So all of this, we'll get rid of it. We don't want it right now. Coming to the licensing part, right? So licensing part, we're gonna keep the default account, and what else? Let's see if we missed out anything. Yeah, so the bandwidth level, right? So there is gonna be something called bandwidth level. Instead of the base, we can use, in my case, I'm gonna use the unlimited license which I have, but in your case, you might want to use something like, if you scroll top here, right? You see you have other valued values which you can use depending on what license you have. Like for example here, if I scroll a bit top, you can see the bandwidth level. The valid values are mini, base, plus, or a bandwidth tier level, right? So you have different tiers for less than 50 Mbps, 200, right? The valid values are mentioned over here, right? Let me just scroll down, right? So the valid values are these, right? 50, 200 Mbps, 500 Mbps, and I'm going to use unlimited, but you can use one of those values, right? Boost, I'm going to use about, I think we have 4000 plus 4000, so I'm going to use like 8000 as my boost. Okay, cool. So the rest of the configs I can just roll over here, not needed. What is this? EC feature licenses, I think we don't really need them right now, so I'm gonna remove that as well, right? Let's come to the last part, which is the routes. How do you want the routes to be handled? Remember, we were using those two check marks so that the EdgeConnect appliance learns the overlay routes, and the EdgeConnect appliance can advertise the local routes, right? So we need to, that's why I changed this to true. So we just need to keep these two, and we gotta keep them as true. We can keep this as false. Advertise local WAN subnets, we don't really need. We don't need our remote EdgeConnect appliance to be able to reach the subnet of our WAN, right? I don't think that is needed. So we don't really need to advertise this. And local metric, right? So let's change the local metric to 55 for now. I will explain why we do this. It mainly has to do with like because we have redundancy in place, right? We want to make something like an active standby, so that's why we change the local metric on one of them. It has to do with the metric of the overlay routes, right? So we'll talk about that later. But apart from that, I think we are good. So all of this, you have all this BGP and all of those things, but we are obviously not gonna play around with that. In fact, we are just going to just select all of that and get rid of it, right? We don't need for now, but if you have enough time, you can explore all of that and include all of that in your pre-config as well. But those things, in our case, we are going to make dedicated videos and talk about those, so that's why I've just removed it and kept only the stuff what is required for us with this config. All right. So once you're done with the getting your configurations up, right, what you can do is we can click on the validate button and make sure that the configuration is correct. You can see here pre-config is valid. Okay, so once that is done, we are going to hit the save button. Remember this tag though, sp-5_tag. So I'm going to hit the save button here, right? So it should start appearing here. There you go. We have the appliance, we have the pre-config showing up. Okay, now it's time to basically go and start this machine, right? So we can start this machine. Let's also watch it picking up IP address, I guess. So where is my, yeah, there you go. So this is SP5, it's still coming up. Let's make a note of the DHCP addresses here. Wanna disconnect here, right? So we can do show IP DHCP binding. Okay, so right now we don't really have any appliance, right? We don't really have the last address is 1.8, which was already used up earlier. So the appliance has still not booted up. So let's wait for a few minutes for this guy to boot up and pick up an IP address. So I'll pause the video and come back after that. Okay, so looks like 1.9 has been picked up, right? And you can see the appliance is showing up here. It is ending with 8A8, right? So let's go to our management PC here, and here I'm going to just okay, I think I'll have to give me a second. All right, so the management appliance is here. Let's click on the plus. The management PC is here, so we should be able to reach the 1.9, right? So let's click on HTTPS. Let's put 192.168.1.9. Okay, so it's coming up. There you go. Perfect. I'm gonna click on advanced. I'm gonna say accept the risk and proceed. Okay, so the default what happened? I think we can close these guys. Did it get closed? Let me try once again. HTTPS 192.168.1.9. Advanced. Let's accept the risk. And there you go. So we're gonna log in with the admin and click OK. The regular stuff, right? We still have to go to the initial config wizard. Let's look at the interfaces here. So Ethernet, so we are on this guy, right? So Ethernet 0 is here. Ethernet 1 would be towards internet, and Ethernet 2 would be over here, right? So let's make sure we got that right? A second. Okay, so clearly the management interface, this guy is going to be the first interface, right? The Ethernet 01. So I'm going to use that. Next, what else do we want? So we are done with Ethernet 0 here. Ethernet 1, let's do Ethernet 2 next, which is the WAN 0. So WAN 0 is here, so we'll change this to Ethernet 2. Perfect. Next we will put Ethernet 1, which is the internet, which is WAN 1. So WAN 1, and this is Ethernet 1, so we'll put that guy. And the final guy is, so we've done these three, and Ethernet 3 will be the LAN. So we go to LAN 0 and we select here and drop down, go with 3. Okay, now I'll pause the video and fill in the account name and the account key. Hold on. Okay, so the other important thing here would be, I think I forgot the host name. Let's put sp-5, and remember we also need the tag, right? So we need to go with sp-5 underscore tag. If I'm not wrong, that's the tag which we used. So once I paste this and save this and hit the reboot, things should start flowing. So let me do that. Give me a second. Perfect. As you see here now, the machine is trying to reboot, so we will give it some time. Meanwhile, let's see what's happening on our orchestrator. So we can go to appliances discovered. You see, okay, something is showing up, which is fine. So this is probably the appliance. I actually made a small mistake earlier of hitting the save button without changing the host name. So I think that's why it is showing up like this. But I think things should be fine once the appliance successfully reboot and it comes up. Right, so let's make sure that happens. We can try to ping it from here as well. I think it is supposed to be 1.9 if I'm not wrong. Okay, it's already reachable, but it takes a little bit of time, right, for the appliance to show up here. So let's just wait. I'm going to pause the video and I'll be back when this reachability changes to reachable. All right, so it has come up. So the moment of truth, right? Let's click on approve. And we will skip the upgrade. And what is it asking me? There you go. It has already picked up that, look, the tags are matching. So it is asking me, are we good to apply the pre-configs? I'm going to say yes. And boom, it's going to start. Right? So as simple as that. I mean, we do not have to go through configuring all the settings. During the deployment, you can prepare your pre-configurations well in advance, feed them into the orchestrator, and when the appliances come up, you can approve it. In fact, in my case, I think I have given a manual knob to approve it, but using the pre-config, there is certain settings where you can even auto approve as well, right? So you can auto approve based on certain criteria. So in that case, it will be even more zero touch. In this case, you see, I still had to click on the approve button, but you can actually get away with that with certain other settings. But at least, I mean, this is still good, right? See, I just clicked on approve and now it is already doing the configurations which were defined in my pre-config file. So let's wait for this to finish. And there we go. It's completed, guys. So SP5 is fully up. You can see all the steps are done. I can close this one. It obviously takes a little bit of time for the tunnels and all of that to show up. You might also see some alarms. You can see the orchestration steps are still, so you can see the orchestration is nothing but the whole tunnels part, right? That's still happening. Meanwhile, one last step we still got to do is we have to click on SP5, open the appliance manager, and probably change the IP address from DHCP to static. So let's do that. So we are here. We can go to administration, hostname and IP. Let's remove the DHCP knob and probably change this from, I think it is supposed to be .8 if I'm not wrong, right? So I'm going to use that and apply the savings. Might take some time for this to be applied. That's fine. That's acceptable. So we are good with this. I can probably hit the save as well, and that should take care of things. Perfect. All right, so that's everything we wanted to do with this particular video, right? You can see the tunnels might still come up. It's still not completely, I think the orchestration is still not completed. So I'll let it stay like this for some time. But mainly what we really wanted to do in this video was get onto our SP5 and see if there is a much easier, like a zero touch approach to bring up these appliances. And that's what we explore, right? So with this video, we kind of have brought up all our, Edge Connect appliances. Um, and we have done some very minimal settings on it, like the IP addressing on the LAN and the WAN side. Maybe in the coming videos we'll explore some other cool design use cases with this particular topology. All right, so thanks for watching and do come back. Have a good day. Bye.